There you go.
All right. Longshot Ken here for the Non-Productive Network. I've got Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning here in front of me. Guys, I have a lot to thank you for over the last couple of years. First off, reinvigorating one of my all-time favorite characters of Adam Warlock in the Magus. I'm a very die-hard Adam Warlock fan. So when I first saw what you guys were doing, I was a little skeptical and nervous. And it turned out to be one of the drop-dead coolest things I've seen done to reinvigorate a character in a long time.
Thank you very much.
So your work with the Annihilators is great. Your whole Marvel space opera stuff is fantastic.
Thank you.
But above all, the biggest thank you that I have, thank you for resurrecting Resurrection Man. One of my all-time favorite books in the 90s. How come it died so quick?
Well, it lasted 2 years, which wasn't a bad. I mean, the thing is, it was never a mainstream hero like Batman or one of the main DC characters. So actually, it did survive very well. But it was always a long shot. In fact, I had a great deal of faith put in it by the DC editorial that it was a book worth doing because it was a good idea rather than expecting to sell in vast numbers. And we were delighted when DC asked us to bring him back, as it seems so inevitable with Resurrection Man, to ask us to bring him back for as part of the New 52. And the editor Eddie Berganza had been a junior editor on it originally, so he was sort of influential in organising its return. And he always said to us that he thought it was a book that it was ahead of its time. It was like a sort of TV show that happens now.
Right. And back at that time, the major focus between the two major houses were superheroes, make them huge, make them fly, give them the powers. And,
we wanted to scale that back deliberately and do a much more sort of small scale book. And I say it was very much. I suppose it was a naughty style of book rather than a 90s style of book, but we did it in the 90s.
Right.
So it makes more sense to come back now.
Yeah, I think at the time it was almost like there was a little range of books that came out that were almost like Vertigo DC books.
Right.
They were between the two. Yeah, they weren't an out-and-out Vertigo book. They weren't a DC mainstream book. It was Resurrection Man, Major Bummer, and Chase. I think were the three that came out around that time, and I think all of them were slightly absolutely ahead of the curve, really. I think that a sort of book now, which is why bringing it out now, it's found its feet really quickly. People are sort of ready for it now, you know, and it's been fantastic going back and revisiting it all. It's brilliant.
Well, I guess the other big question I have regarding Resurrection Man is how far ahead, planning-wise, of the stories are you?
Quite a way, actually.
How many months are we looking at right now?
We've got a year's worth of stories in fairly good detail, and we also planned meta story arcs in terms of where we play them out. So I mean, there's plenty of stuff there. We like to get fluid with things. We do the same thing on the Cosmic books. We have a fairly big game plan, which is sort of grandiose and ambitious, but we think on our feet, and if something happens or we get a great idea, we can fit it in. It's fluid enough to be moved around. So we've already done that with Resurrection Man, sort of added in elements that we weren't necessarily expecting to, but keeping the same roadmap as we go along.
Now, we've also lost some of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Are we going to get some surprises, hopefully, over the next couple of months?
It would be that would be very nice. In all honesty, we don't exactly know what Marvel's plans are for Cosmic books.
Okay.
We're not kept in the loop with everything. We know what we're doing. We don't know what.
Smack Joe up the head and say, "Come on, man."
Well, we can try that.
Guys, we hadn't thought of that approach.
Actually,
it could be a new way.
Approach. Yeah.
I apply that to everything I do in the industry, and that's why I'm still doing internet radio. Guys, listen, I want to thank you very much. You guys are very busy. We're going to let you go. Again, I'm very excited about Resurrection Man, and please, for our listening audience, don't misconstrue that because I'm on my knees in front of Dan. Guys, keep up the great work. Enjoy the con. It was very nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.